Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to modify our battery box and eliminate a fire hazard. So this battery box is the factory box, but you can tell it's not the factory battery. So two issues is that the battery don't quite fit in this box. You can see, and the cables actually rub on top of this battery box. So this is definitely a fire hazard waiting to happen, because if two of these rub through, these will arc out here, and if this is covered and you don't notice it, it will definitely blow the battery up. So we want to avoid that. So keep in mind that we are going to build a cover over this, and it will cover here. That's what comes from factory. That cover didn't come, it didn't have it when I bought the machine, so it's not there. So my plan is, we'll cut this battery box down to about here, right across. That should let the battery sit in and give plenty of room then for these cables to not hit this metal. So let's get this battery out and see what we're dealing with. As you can tell, that one was good and tight. Currently, there's no hole down here, I don't believe. So these are pads that they had underneath it. It does call for one pad under the battery, so we'll hold on to that. So underneath this panel, it's definitely probably the most rustiest part of the machine. So at some point it had battery acid or something. Anyway, it just cooks these bolts. Hopefully we can get these out without snapping them off. Let's see.
Valve back here.
So let's get this on the bench, get it cleaned up. Like I said, we'll cut off that top section and clean up this area here while we're at it. So I got the layout done for what I want to cut off the battery box. You can see we're taking about that much off the top. Still, these are mounting holes here for the valve. On the inside, I did give it a good shot of rust converter, and I wire reeled it. Because I don't really got tools that can get in there to clean it up real good. But we'll get this cut off. I'll get this painted up, and then we should be able to mount this back up. Definitely no fun feeling sparks on your lips. Oh dear. Okay, while we're waiting for the paint to dry in that battery box, I'm going to turn my attention to these battery cables. These are just real light cables, and you can see there's a bit of corrosion. So we are going to change to this style end, and over here to this style battery terminal. It just has a wing nut. I'm probably going to end up changing it to just a regular nut, but for now that'll work. So let's get these put on. I just soaked it down with a little bit of battery clean. If there is any corrosion still left in, this should look after it. So we'll do that in a minute, and then we'll get the input on. This is just a little crimping tool that I picked up a while ago now. But all it is, when you pick it up, you can put your connector in, and the spring tension of this will hold your connector in place. You can just put your wire in. It just flattens at the end like that. So, we'll get this one on. At least this part will be done. So there we have the finished product. I do like these for the fact of you can take the cables off here and it doesn't keep working these back and forth. Not that I'm planning on having these on and off a lot, but it does give you a lot better options, because the more you take these on and off, the more you stretch them and the worse they fit. So we'll get the battery box on and see how these fit. Then we'll start making up that center panel. Okay, so we got the battery box done and the battery mounted again. As you can see, with that being lower, these cables don't rub, and this battery here now fits. I did look up the factory battery, and the cold cranking amps were significantly less than this one. And being I live in Alberta, I would much rather have the cold cranking amps than the actual battery that fits properly. So we modified it to fit properly. So the only other thing I need to do with this right now I need to build this cover that comes along here and then down here. But it also has to notch out to come around these two cables and this water valve. It got the factory with it, but when I bought this machine it did not have it. I'm assuming because this battery didn't fit correct, they left it off and it got left in the corner of a shop somewhere. That's what I'm figuring happened, because that would probably happen to me too. Once we get that done, that is going to clue up the rest of this video. Okay, I figured out I needed 11 inches wide by 25 5/8 long for the top section. That'll bring me basically from right here, the whole width across, back to here. That should meet up with the back piece here. So I'll get this cut out and then show you what we gotta do for the bracing. So this is just laid in place just so I can mark my holes. It will sit on top of this plate. I actually like the look of this, but I assume the reason why they didn't mount it like this was that the vibration would actually cause us to rub through the tanks. So the separation stops that. And thanks to a friend of mine in Sassafras Valley, if you haven't done it yet, head over and check out his channel. There's amazing stuff on that channel. I'm actually going to be allowed to buy a drill press. So after my wife seen one of his comments, she was like, yeah, you definitely need a drill press. So once again, thanks for that. The Sassafras Valley. Head over, check out his YouTube channel. It's great. Okay, I'm not really sure where I finished off in this video the last time. It's been a few days since I'm back to this. I'm going to get this drilled out. We get this mounted up. Then this will be the finish off of this video, and still waiting on a couple of parts for this. But in the meantime, I got those holes marked. Let's get this off and get this drilled. let's get this mounted on so we get the other piece mocked up. Okay, so we got this top panel mounted with the 3 holes we just drilled. This is where the back panel will go. We need to drill a hole here and one here. Normally I would bend this, but I don't have anything to bend it, so I end up splitting it in 2 and we'll just weld the seam. Also, there's a structure of 1x1 tubing that goes underneath it for strength, so that should be fine. And honestly, I'll just make a nice little rounded edges with the grinder. Like I said, grinder and paint makes you do well your ain't. I did take a scratch awl, mark those 2 holes. Let's get those drilled out, and then we can start laying this out to tack weld it together. We're already in the way. Yeah, slightly left. Okay, so this is how it looks bolted in place. So now I'll just put this up, put a couple of tacks on this, and we'll get it on the bench to finish it off. Like I said, I do have to do a skeleton underneath it as well. Just so you know, I did remove the battery before I tacked this. That should be enough to hold it for now. Let's get it up on the bench. Okay, so we get that off, we got it on the bench. So I need to make just a little skeleton, just for some more rigidity, where this is such a long span. I was gonna go buy some more material, but I found these scraps that I had, and they should do the trick. So it's not for anything major, just a little bit more rigidity, and we'll weld these in. So let's get these put on, and then this should be good for paint. So there it is, all together. I'm sure it's still warm. Flip it over. Get them all tacked together. I'll get this cleaned up. We'll get it painted, get it back on the machine. Hey guys, so we got this cover installed. Definitely a slightly different shade of red, but it'll do. Thanks for following along. I was hoping to have the actual final assembly video of this one up by now, but I'm still waiting on a part for the fuel leak that I got with it. But hope you enjoyed seeing this taken apart and put back together. It definitely it was my first taking a roller apart. If you like what you're seeing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, God bless. We'll see you on the next one.